It is a gloomy Sunday morning in Virginia, so I hope the lighting in here is adequate. For the past few days, I've been thinking about the next big feature for BlockMiner. I still can't help but think that something is missing for the game. The game already challenges you with building a chain reaction within a given time frame. It's currently not in use, but my block manager system can adjust the speed of block drops, as well as drop multiple blocks at once, stacked or spread out. While I think returning these features are worthwhile, I still think that BlockMiner could use a more interesting obstacle. I want to try adding enemies to BlockMiner. Well, 2 weeks have passed since I recorded the last bit, and in that time I got a lot done for BlockMiner, but I also got a sinus infection, which did hurt the production of this devlog quite a bit. I wasn't able to record as much of the process of making these updates and stuff. It is what it is. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the enemies, or just one enemy. The snake was interesting because I wanted it to be considered as a block, but not behave like one. My block manager needed to recognize the snake as a block, it needed to keep track of it needed to be able to spawn it, and the snake also needed to react to an exploding TNT block if it was too close to one. There was a lot to consider, and in the end, I had to make several changes to my block manager, as well as redefine what a block is. This is what I ended up with. The snake will drop and stay dormant until the player enters its proximity. At that point, the snake will lunge towards the player as long as they're one space away, and if the player doesn't evade it, they die. The only way to kill it is by using a block to crush it. What I like about the snake is that it actually encourages the player to use the mechanics of pushing a block as well as throwing one. The snake is missing a few things, but I think by the next devlog I'll have it all done. Franco from the future here. The snake is only one of 2, maybe 3 enemies that I had in mind for BlockMiner. I know all of them will be some kind of animal, each with their own behaviors and attack patterns. I considered throwing these enemies at the player during various points in a level, but after working on the snake, I came to the conclusion that it will be best for enemies to spawn only after all the blocks have been dropped. That way the player only focuses on one obstacle at a time. And as for how many enemies will be present at once, I'm still not sure, but with enough playtesting, I'll figure it out. Anyway, I hope to have more updates on the remaining enemies soon. I also got a chance to play around with Godot's method of creating dynamic soundtracks using their audio stream interactive node. You essentially take a song and break it down into clips that can be transitioned to depending on the in-game scenario. In the case of BlockMiner, the music is chill at the start of every level, but then becomes more lively after the block's dropped and when the timer starts. And it gets more intense as you start to run out of time. So what I'm trying to say is that I created the first song for BlockMiner. I used the simplest tools I had at my disposal, Teenage Engineering's KO2 and the Roland S1. These instruments have always been my go-to for sketching out ideas for new songs, but honestly I think these instruments alone are enough to complete the soundtrack for BlockMiner. I took the time to create a first pass of the background, which means just the shape and outline without any detail. Even with the unfinished background, I actually did a lot for the visuals and added depth that had been missing for far too long. I do have grand visions for the missing details, but that'll probably be the topic of a future devlog. The past few weeks were chaotic, but I'm really proud of all the work I was able to get done, especially while fighting a sinus infection. With the inclusion of the snake and the unfinished background, it really got me thinking about all the missing animations and sound effects for the game. So I think I'll probably be working on filling those gaps next and hopefully talk about it on the next devlog. And with that, thanks for watching guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching this video and are at all interested in keeping up to date with BlockMiner. You can also follow me on Instagram and Blue Sky for shorter forms of content and just for other general updates. Well, thanks again guys. See you in the next devlog.